Yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go. What's up, everybody? Don't know what's about to happen. It's been quiet. So let me send out the link to see if anybody gonna come on here with me. I know it's late. I know these niggas about to hate my guts because everybody got work in the morning. So do I. But what's on y'all minds? I gotta make a thumbnail while I'm talking to y'all. While we're getting ready for this show, let's see if we can get into something, but I need to make a thumbnail. All right. Let's go to the YouTube. Let's see who in here so far. Let's do this. Hey, buddy. Peace, 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 peace. B-Law, what's up? Gideon Block, peace. The plug, what it do? Facts over personality. I don't know what the topic is yet. Marlon, peace. Rakim, peace, bro. Thirsty Uno. Man, Memphis definitely trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat. They was getting scraped in the first quarter and the beginning of the second quarter. But them coons started coming back. Down. Stop. Go sit down. Thank you. Yeah, so I don't know. But what else going on, y'all? I'm gonna let y'all come up with 3 topics and we're discussing. We'll choose out of the 3 topics that y'all come up with. Yeah, man. I just felt like we ain't been on in a couple of days, so I wanted to check in. You know, Unc got a debate tomorrow. Unc, where you at? I need you to send me that flyer. Unc got a debate tomorrow with the sister that was on the other night about evolution. So he gonna go over there on her channel and had a conversation with her. I ain't had the patience for it. You know, I don't argue with people. You know, I'm not that type of atheist. I don't argue with people who stuck in their beliefs. You know, that you know, especially when it comes about if the bottom line is about your God, right, and your religious subscription. You know what I mean? I really don't care. You know, my grandmother got a religion, right? I'm not arguing with her. I let people be. And then I think, you know, by me being a barber, right? And I'm not just any barber. I have a very large clientele, right? I own a few barbershops. So, you know, whichever one I'm at, I have my set clientele, right? But I'm in a shop. My clients know me, right? And my barbershop atmosphere is like the other barbers. All of our clients, you know, they come in around the same time. So everybody know each other. We got a good rapport, right? So we all have conversations with each other, right? Ongoing conversations. So I've learned how to not be offensive to my clientele base because I believe something different from them. When I come on here, I am my most opinionated. You know, I'm my most opinionated when I come on here. I've learned to tone it down in my business, right? And also, you know, if you have older clients, right? Have older male clients, you know, some pastors, you know, I have large Muslim clientele, a large Christian clientele. I have a few reverends, some pastors, other people that's members of the clergy. So I've learned how to tone back my sentiments on religion, right? And I learned how to work with it, right? Because most people are decent, right? Most of us are not responsible for our religion, right? Most of us, you know. Religion is communal, right? So it's closely related to your family, right? Your family upbringing, you know, and then the community that you live in. So I don't blame people for their religious subscription as much as you know, other atheists. I don't look at religion as being individualistic as much as we like to believe it is. I don't believe that is an individual belief system, a personal belief system, as much as we say it is. I tend to not believe that, you know, I changed my understanding on that. So personally, I don't believe that religion is as personal as we try to make it be as a communal thing. Most people will follow their religion because it's the religion of their community or family, and you know, both sometimes at the same time. So it's pretty much for most people is about their upbringing and what they've been privy and exposed to. So I don't take shots at people personally or on a personal level about religion. And it's because of my I learned to do that with my job. Now, when I was first starting out and I was in other people barbershops, oh, I say do anything, you know, because I wasn't looking after my business, right? It was somebody else's business that I was just renting the chair from, a booth from. But now in my business, I like it to be as open and warm to as many people as possible. We had a conversation today before I left out the shop about religion. And I pretty much didn't engage in it. You know, I pretty much said a few things, but I didn't engage where I would show my opinion on religion. You know, I just spoke within the context of what they were talking about. So yeah. Let me see. We ain't got nobody. So what do y'all want to talk about? Cedric, what's up? Anthony Bowman, Dash Herb. Who else in here? Come on, buddy, with all that noise, man. Yeah, it's definitely a yeah, I don't think it's an individual thing no more. Like, you know, most people believe in their religion because their parents told them to, right? Or You know, most people, you know, are Christian because their grandmother took them to church. You know, so that's pretty much what it is. You know, most Muslims, right, are Muslims because their parents was Muslims and took them to the masjid, right? So it's not a personal thing. You know, for me, I don't look down on people, you know, for following their, you know, most people don't think about it in depth enough to even choose, you feel me? Like most people are worried about work, you know, their income, things like that. For the most part, most Americans don't ponder on religion as much as we like to think, you know, especially as not to make a decision whether to stay in that religion or not, right? Most Americans, right, we feel as though that, all right, I'm a Christian because my mother and them a Christian, my father a Christian, you know what I mean? So I don't go to church, but when I pray in the name of Jesus, right? But that's not something that we're worried about for the most part. We're worried about securing a nice income to live decently, right? They're the things that we most, you know, we feel like that God thing is already taken care of. You know, we feel like our parents can already then saved us a spot in heaven already. So our parents then took care of that for us. You know what I mean? I'm gonna send this link. All right, let me grab the link for you, Cedric. Anybody else that want to come on? So yeah, that's why I really don't argue people religious stuff no more. Mr. Rich, hit this link because you be talking spicy. Let's see if we can get a little panel on here for about an hour. I didn't have no topic in mind. Like I said, we haven't been on in a few days, and you know, I didn't even make a thumbnail. I'm gonna make one if y'all come on and start talking. I'll make a thumbnail. Stew peas. I got a Caribbean panel already. I got Stew Peas and Cedric in the building. Man, my Caribbean family definitely come through and hold the pseudo killers down. What's going on, Stew Peas? Cedric, what's going on? I don't know what.
I'm good, Chef. I heard religion. Just when I
Big
heard
up
religion.
Cedric, big up yourself.
What you saying, Stew Peas? What good, my brother?
As Caribbean people, do we share a similar culture?
Yes. There are certain aspects of Caribbeanness that you can identify on each island, and then again there are distinct characteristics which make each island unique.
So if somebody call it Caribbean, you wouldn't be mad?
Me not push, but I a Caribbean man. Listen, and it is on which level you're identifying yourself. When me and you talking, I can straight up tell you I'm from St. Martin because from the time you hear my accent already, you know you could put me in the Caribbean. It's only now becoming specific. When I travel to the US, for example, when I'm in Miami,
we're gonna call you Jamaican.
I say the Caribbean. I say the Caribbean because to be specific, everybody from Jamaica. You understand my point? If somebody really interested, then I'll take the time and explain them. No, I'm from the East Caribbean, a small island, St. Martin, etc. But I know they just want to verify the way they hear me sound, that is distinctly from the Caribbean. So I just tell them, yeah, from the Caribbean. You from Jamaica? No. Caribbean. Jamaica? No. Yeah, but you understand my point?
And how far away is your island from Jamaica? About 900 miles?
About, you know, we east the Dominican Republic. So we on the outer edge. So when the hurricane's coming, we one of the first islands it hit.
Okay. So
we
we said
next door to Timba. So we about 3 hours away from Jamaica by plane.
So about 1,200 miles?
About something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing, and yet still we're still Caribbean people, right?
But the Caribbean stretches from Cuba straight down to Trinidad.
Right. And although the Cubans speak Spanish, don't they have some similarities?
The Cubans
to other
speak
Caribbean?
Spanish. The Haitians speak Creole. The Dominicans speak Spanish, but there are aspects of the. Listen, we all eat plantain.
Right.
Where you don't get the rice and peas in the Caribbean.
Right.
Because I've been to Cuba. I've been to Cuba. They are definitely Caribbean.
So the language is not. We don't have to speak the same language.
No. As a matter of fact, if you want to become multilingual, you come to St. Martin. St. Martin is the only place where Jamaicans come learn to speak Spanish and the Dominicans come learn to speak English.
but look at Curacao. Curacao is also in the Caribbean.
Curacao. That's a completely distinct dialect between those three islands, Curacao, Aruba, and Bonaire. They're the only three islands that speak that dialect in the Caribbean. The only other place that you hear is off the coast of Ghana, and of course, what you call those islands there? Not Madagascar, the other side.
Okay, would you classify Suriname and Belize as Caribbean?
No, you see.
That's more South America.
No, you see. They are South American countries, but Guyana is a Caribbean nation within South America. Belize, Honduras.
And Suriname also. And Belize.
Suriname also, because they have, we practically one people. Suriname, St. Martin is almost interchangeable, and that's South America. Huh?
And Belize.
Same thing. Belize is rice. Honduras is rice and peas and Caribbean English, like me and you.
And they're on South America, border the Caribbean Sea, right?
Yep.
Hey, yo. Hey, peace to the panel. What's up, Cedric? What's up, Scoopies? What's up, Chuck?
I'm good, Mr. Rich.
Mr. Rich, what's up?
Yo, I was, one of my professors, she's from Cuba, from the Lokabi tribe, and one of their deities is Elegba. And Elegba, I was listening to a Fela Kuti song, from Nigeria, and, they got a deity called Elegba. So you see all the similarities, even the spirituality.
There's a band called Africando that plays full salsa. Now, as a Caribbean person, if you don't slow down your ears, you would swear it's Spanish. But when you listen, it's pure African they're singing, Africando the band name, but they're playing pure salsa. And originally from the continent. So it's like, okay, so that music is over there too. They're pretty much the same zouk. The Haitian zouk and compa is one of our biggest Caribbean stars. Is an African, but we didn't even know he was African. We thought he was from Guadeloupe all the time. I can't bring the name right now. Ngoma. One of the biggest zouk artists. We swearing this man is from Haiti all the time, just like all the other Kumpa Stars. No, sir, in Goma from I think Nigeria or from one of those Congo or one of those countries. So
But no,
the
continue. Sorry to cut you. Continue.
no. That I just was making that point that,
No.
that you know we could see
All right.
cultural aspects throughout the islands and even on the continent what bond us, but still each island have the unique characteristics where you can say, okay, that's Jamaica, that's St. Kitts, that's St. Martin, but we know that's Caribbean.
No, I dare anybody in this room to go and listen to America. What's the African singer name? The one who sang the Click song. She sang with Paul Simon on the African
Oh
side.
yeah,
I
yeah,
dare
yeah, yeah,
anybody
yeah.
in this room to go and listen to that lady, although she's African and don't find affinity with the music. I dare anybody, because culturally, some speak to a soul culturally, that the same music, what they want to black people music in America, or black people can listen to black people music in Panama, or black people music in Honduras, and have an affinity to it. Because culturally, in our soul, we're the same people. So the music,
Listen, from the
although we
time
don't
those
understand
drums
the
start to
language,
pong, you got to move.
although we don't understand the language, Americans can go to Brazil and hear Brazil black singers singing and find a oneness in it. Although these people were separated 400 years ago. I dare anybody to tell me I'm lying on that.
You're not
I go to
lying.
Nigeria, I listen to that music and find an affinity to it and enjoy it. We're not talking about hard rock now with guitars and that.
No.
When we listen to that,
No.
that just turned my spirit upside down.
I want you to go Curacao and listen to the drummers beat that tambour, or go Guadeloupe and listen to them beat the drums and tell me you could sit down without moving as a black person.
Right.
Within 10 minutes, you must stand up. The drums just literally get into your bones. You got to move, and you're going to start moving in ways that you didn't understand you could do. I experienced that myself.
Back.
They start ponging those drums, 10 minutes, that's all it takes. Listen, all this Yankee pride we have and think we from the West, that thing does disappear quick. Quick. Lead them start ponging them drums and you see what happened. That thing is instinctive. I understood that myself.
Right. But Sheffrin, we're talking about religion.
Yo.
I don't want to take over the show with my Caribbean and African. Caribbean people not going to take over your show.
But yeah,
Yo.
for true. Because I
Yo,
jump
what's
in on
going
the religious thing.
Yo, what's going on, y'all, man? I just want to holler at y'all, man. Say what's going on to the panel. Peace to the panel, man.
Good, what's good, B-Lou?
What's good, man?
We good, family. We good. But yes, Two Feet, let's get on the religion thing. I just always ask this question. If somebody come to me and talk to me about a red dragon blowing balloons in the sky, I'm going to watch the person, dismiss the argument, and continue moving, because there is no evidence for that. We know it comes out of the mind of a human being. If they tell you a mermaid, we're going to listen to them, watch them, and say, nice story. Although from the time they make reference to these things, we can pull the image in our head. But we know for a fact that these things come out of the imagination of a human being, because we use the tools given to us to discern imagination from reality. Doesn't this same logic apply to this idea of a God? Why are we having all these elaborate discussions and even giving room for the notion where there's as much evidence for a God as there is for a damn mermaid?
Sheffrin, the problem with religion, especially for African people, is that growing up, I don't know if you have this tale in your island. There's a story about the River Mama or the mermaid in Jamaica. River Mama and the Golden Table. That sometime when you're crossing the river, you have to pay homage to the River Mama, or else the river might come down and wash you away. It's basically the Orisha, the African Orisha that we with the water god, right? We transported her to Jamaica, we changed her to the River Mama. The problem is that we as African people have always been very spiritual people. We took our Orishas with us to the New World when we came on the ship. and we transform Anansi from the trickster god to a storyteller, to a story. Listen, your island, my island have something in Big Boy Story. Like Big Boy Story, they talk about this big boy who getting all kind of antics and always getting out of it. The North American have Burr Rabbit. They changed Anansi to Burr Rabbit, but it's the same character.
Yeah.
Right?
We had a Nancy and Burra.
Right, but it's the same character. When you look at them, it's the same character. It's trickster gods. But the problem is that we spiritual. So when our original level of spirituality was taken away from us, we cleave to one that we saw. Right? Because I had a book once, I can't remember the name of the book, where we talk about the missionaries and they talk about the original slave owners. The original slave owners who came to the New World was not religious men, you know. They were not religious men. If you look at it, when religion started to take a hold in the Caribbean and in the New World, is when they send those, what do you call those people? Like they go out, the word I'm looking for.
Missionaries.
Missionaries. Is when the missionaries came, religion became impactful in the New World, you know. But the original adventurers were not religious men because they didn't carry the belief that it will fall off the end of the earth. Or they didn't carry the belief that monsters are sea monsters in the ocean. When you reach XYZ, these were adventurers. These were men whose primary focus was to make a fortune. But when the missionary came and said, listen, you're having problem with controlling the slaves in Jamaica, let us give them religion. And it worked, and you're having problem controlling the slave in the southern states, let's give them religion. In Brazil, the Catholic Church came and said, listen, God will protect you from mistreatment because the slaves in Brazil were being brutalized. And then the Catholic Church came and set up rules and said, listen, you can't brutalize a slave like this. And the simplest act of kindness resulted in people cleaving towards this religion as it's saving them from the brutality of the masters. And then start associating that same religion with the wealth of the master. Like I too can live in a big house. Why every Caribbean person want to live in a big house? Every Caribbean person who come to America dream is to go back to them islands and build a big house on the hill, like the slave master did live. Am I lying, Chef? Am I lying?
It's a sign of status. I build a big house on a hill.
Right, it's a sign of status. It's a sign of wanting to live like this, live like the slave master. So if we want to live like him, we're going to practice in religion also, because that must be integral to his success.
Now, let me give a little pushback here on the idea of spirituality. Every culture, everywhere around this planet, there are people was using or trying some way to figure out the reality of this environment they're in. And they came up with spiritual concepts. If you look in the South American, the Mayan, the Incas, these had elaborate cultures, the Greeks, and before that, the Vikings, they had Odin. All of these things are spiritual, and we just try to separate spirituality from God, but it is all these things. They exist in the realm of ignorance. No one people is more spiritual than the next. The difference is one people choose to hold on to traditions and systems that bring them nothing instead of continuing to develop. And that has nothing to do with being more in tune with spookism than anybody else. Because spirituality, what that means, giving reference to the unknown and the ununderstood. We beyond that as a people. And when you embrace science and technology, that's why, and that question I started to ask the last year or so is the question that has make everybody freeze. Why do I give the idea of a God any more significance than the idea of a goddamn mermaid or a dragon or a leprechaun. Why? Why is there two separate categories? For me, they're the same. There is no evidence of any, and we use tools to distinguish imagination from reality. And obviously, the concept of a God comes out of the very elaborate imagination of human beings, nothing else. There is nothing there what warrants an investigation or even hanging it up to be in the realm of possible. It is just as possible as these damn mermaids. And then when you think about mermaid and you say, wait, how are you to have sex? How would you give birth? Is that how that gonna work? It's impossible. It's anatomically impossible. So we don't give it any type of value. We dismiss it because we know it's naturally impossible. So now, with the concept of a God, why do we give this subject any more attention than we would do the idea of a mermaid? This is a philosophical question I pose to everybody now, because they are one and the same to me.
No, the whole God concept, started out as superstition, right? Because many persons superstitious. It means that if I wear a red and a blue socks and I buy a lotto ticket and I win $100, and 2 times it happened that I wear the red and the blue socks, and every time I buy a lotto ticket, I win $100. After that, that red and blue socks is going to be associated with luck. Or if I wear a red and a blue socks, and my favorite sports team win. When I don't wear the red and the blue socks, I contributed to the fact that because I never wear the red and the blue socks, that's why the sports team didn't win. Or I didn't watch the game, that's why the sports team didn't win. So there's some inkling in some individual that to listen, if I prescribe to this, right? If when I drinking a beer, I throw it a little for my friends, right? Prosperity will come back to me. I'm going to have the ability to drink another beer. Or when I plant the crop and I did take some of the seeds and throw in the bush. So I was giving it to somebody in the bush. The crop was bountiful. So these superstitions over time develop into a deity concept or into a security concept that then further turn into a God concept. So although I'm going to tell you that I never see the dragon yet, somebody's going to tell you that you don't have to see the dragon, because once you give homage to the dragon, you'll be all right. Or I never see the angels.
We understand that it's completely illogical and irrational. We understand that now. We could understand things like confirmation bias. We understand all of these things. And with the wealth of knowledge that we have now today, why do we give, like, Sunday, any given Sunday, to the argument Chef was made, if the neighbor, they are blasting some dancehall music 7 o'clock in the morning, the whole neighborhood going to be in uproar. Why? The music is simply too loud. Now, the other neighbor down the road Sunday, 7 o'clock in the morning, start blasting Shirley Temple and Holy Mary and Jesus Christ. Nobody got an issue.
And he can play it even louder than the man who was playing the reggae music.
Listen, blasting, screaming to the top of his lungs, that nobody feels that there is any room to tell this person, yo, partner, hold that shit down, meaning that nonsense with you. Why is there special reverence? Why does the pastor have the authority for me to know that he's a pastor, come sit down in my barber chair, start preaching, expect me to just click my head, yes. And if I tell the pastor, well, you know, pastor, spookism is spookism, he has the right now to not come back in my place. Where is this imbalance justified in our society today? Why do we, in our Black community, because I am a member of the white atheist community for years, I am proud to call myself an anti-theist. I mean, I follow Amun Ra and the Godless Engineer. I follow these guys for years. I mean, all those apologetics. That's why I could hear them in the Black community and identify apologetics one time, because you have a claim, and now you are going to give me a reason why the claim is valid, although there is no evidence to substantiate nothing you're saying. That's just apologetics. This is what I like. I have no problem. I tell my mother, don't bring that God thing to me. I listen. I go to church. My sister getting married, and she got some pastor, they are jokey pastor who telling her about Adam and Eve, and then misquoting the Bible, and then everybody watching me because they know I am full-fledged atheist. But my sister getting married, so I come and sit on there. I ain't gonna make no ruction in that place, but everybody know Cedric in like on TV, on everything in my community. I make a public stand, and now I in the heart of a Caribbean community. That last week, I shook my head when I saw the amount of people by the Catholic Church for Good Friday. I just shook my head and said, "Boy, I got a lot of work to do." Jesus, that there were 100 cars, the church packed, and I said, "Wow, look at this nonsense!" Like really.
You didn't go Palm Sunday. You didn't go Palm Sunday. You didn't cut down all of the palm tree them in the community.
Listen,
I spread
I
the
grew
place
up
with
a
palm
good
leaves.
Catholic boy. I grew up a good Catholic boy. I sing in the choir. So I do the Palm Sunday, the First Holy Communion, and everything. And when I was about 14, having sex ed in school and whatnot. So please, Christmas time, I keep saying this story, Christmas time, the Virgin Mary had a baby boy from this man, Joseph Knight from St. Kitts. You know Joseph Knight from St. Kitts, I sing that song. Yes,
he come
sir.
from the glorious kingdom.
He come from the glory.
Yeah.
So I listened to the song and I dissected the song and I say, okay, a woman had a baby, nothing spectacular about that. Honey him. So the virgin thing, the virgin is what makes this story unique. So I went and asked my father, Daddy, what virgin means? You know, the man was shaving, he turned and watched me like, go ask your mother. You know, that face like you having another conversation. So I asked my mother, what virgin mean? When my mother tell me it's a woman who never had sex, and I say she make a baby, me ain't going to church no more. Huh? Right then and there.
No, but let's be honest.
I was done.
Let's be honest. The Greek, the word for the use of virgin in Greek don't necessarily mean
I was done.
Sense.
Don't give me the apologetics. Now I starting with
mean that she was a young lady. Let's be honest. We have to discuss it. The word virgin mean that she was a young lady, unwed, not necessarily unsexed.
You know why the Greeks were able to misconstrue or mix that up with their mythology where demigods is a normal thing? Because the dude wasn't factual.
Yeah, no, it wasn't factual. Okay. If you look at it.
So because he was not a real person, they knew that they were able to read whatever they read and put it into the demigod context that they use. So again, whatever. There is no evidence, none for this dude. And all the evidence they supposedly had, Paul, our Christianity today is based on Paul seeing, not seeing nothing, having a vision. A vision. David Koresh had a vision. We name Jim Jones had a vision. Paul had a vision. And Paul's vision was convenient. You know hustle talk?
Hold on a second.
Hustle talk.
Hold on. Are you saying that Paul is a real person, right? We agree that Paul is a real person.
I am saying
are you disputing that Paul is a real person?
Okay. Let me say this. I'm going to grant you Paul is a real person. Now, let me say this about Paul one time. He is one of the first people who invented the New York hustle. Coincidentally, He was the one, when you're telling somebody, listen, partner, I used to run down these people myself until I see the vision. And now easy it is to bring you around and sell you my shit because I was opposed to it. And now I'm the biggest supporter of it. That story reads like New York Hustle, but I don't read nothing with no spooked out glasses. I give the whole story no reverence, so I could read it like it read. That's a hustler selling a gig. Plain out.
Would Christianity exist today without Paul?
He remixed that whole thing, right? Because
It
he
wouldn't exist
realized
today without him.
only dealing with these Jewish people, I wasn't gonna connect enough money, so I got to include the rest of these people to try to get them on board of this thing. Because the more people in this ship, the more money I could collect. Read out through a Paul. Paul getting money left and right, doing nothing. I read the Bible like it's the ultimate hustle book.
There's no history of Paul being a rich man.
Listen, everybody support Paul, right? Paul didn't work a day after he started preaching. Everybody get money from the Corinthians, the Galatians, put money together, send for Paul. Everybody was taking care of Paul in good brotherly love, right? Listen, you know Aloysius, when the woman say, but the queen shits, and the people say the queen does not shit.
Yeah.
Most people read the Bible like that. I don't read the Bible like that. I read Job and I laugh. I say, which dumb idiot write this piece of nonsense? If I know that, I just train dogs. So please, if I tell you, you don't go in that yard, the dog gonna bite off your head. You gonna make a bet with me that you could go in?
No.
How the devil's so stupid to take a bet with God? By the definition of God, from the time he speak it is so. So why put Job through that whole torture to ultimately come up to the same conclusion? Job win, because God and the devil needed to make a bet. But people read that story so damn backward that you wonder why you read it. That story is poorly written. Whoever write that is dumb, because that's the first thing anybody gonna question. Why would the devil be so stupid, take a bet like that, knowing he gonna lose? Who write that? You wasn't very smart, but I don't read the Bible with those glasses on, I tell you.
No, but
the snake say what?
No, the question is how we interpret the devil probably is a new concept. The devil might be just the devil might just be.
You're giving me the apologetics. The devil walk into God having a meeting, and they decide, have you considered my servant Job? That is a stupid bet for the devil to take. End of story. God is all knowing everything, and the devil don't know that.
Because the devil is not the devil as I always see him as a pitchfork person.
Let me add this.
Yeah.
Just certain stories, right? Even childhood stories are fanciful, right? And the story aren't necessarily true, right? Because it doesn't matter if the story is true. It's about the morality that comes from within the story. Yeah. So certain texts you read, you may get interpreted in Christianity, like you may have the fundamentalist view, where they read everything as literal, but truly that's not how was not how you're supposed to read the text. Some are actually just the fables.
Aesop fables, like Aesop fables.
So when I read that fable,
just hold on.
Don't think I bet you can't win.
Hold on, the fate. Yeah, it doesn't. A fable don't gotta be scientifically accurate. It's only about the end result. So everything is not necessarily read to be interpreted as literally going down.
See, are you reading the Bible with this reverence and afraid to say it's a dumbass, written story?
No, but there's more than one way to read the Bible. That's why you can't just
read the Bible without the spooked out glasses. So when I read the Bible, that the devil is making a bet with God, then the devil is extremely stupid.
I'm just saying, like, you read the Bible like a fundamentalist. You read it literally. Everything is literally a snake talk, or not a snake, a serpent talk. You think that you literally take it as a serpent speaking, like literally. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay,
that's not the
stop
only
right
way
there,
to read
right
the
there,
text.
right there. Stop right there. It says the serpent spoke. Okay. Since I don't have those special glasses, tell me, what am I supposed to interpret when I read those lines? I ain't that smart. Help me out.
Okay, well.
Hit me with the apologetics. I
Okay,
ain't
well,
here yet.
it's not necessarily apologetic. Okay, the three little pigs, right? One pig built a house, well, a brick house. Have you ever seen a pig build a brick house? No, right? So the story is not necessarily, if you take the story about the three little pig as literal, then it's gonna look crazy to you. But
that brings me right back to
there's
my
a
beginning
theme.
question.
No, but I'm saying that
Understanding that the three little pigs in the Bible are equivalent. When it comes to the discussion of God, why do I have to give that special attention when I wouldn't give the three little pigs no attention?
I'm saying you're not religious, so you don't have to get like you don't have to. That's not your thing. That's not your skill. So why would you even attempt to? You know what I'm saying? Like why would you even try to do that? Like no, I'm saying like why would you my question is why would you even try? Like I don't try to do that shit.
My question goes deeper. Why would I even be religious? Why is that even a thing?
I mean, you know why it's a thing. I mean,
no, I don't. The concept of a God is equal to a concept
I mean,
of
as many
leprechaun
times as we have conversations about
that?
I said as many times as we have conversations about the believing brain, you saying to me that you have no idea why people believe in the God.
I'm trying to push the conversation further. I'm trying to make us understand that even having these discussions, the way we do, the reverence and the validity we give to the concept of a God is fundamentally unjust and wrong. It is on the same footing as a leprechaun.
I mean, you may see it that way. That's cool. No,
you see, you are making my point right here. It's not a matter of whether you see. I have tools to distinguish imagination from reality.
The thing is,
nothing about the ideas of a God is nothing more than imagination. It is the same imaginary frame of reference that you need to create a leprechaun.
And I feel the same way also. But that don't mean that I'm necessarily going to force that on somebody else because everybody ain't going to see it that way. Everybody's not built to have a scientific mind, bro. That's just the reality.
Cedric, can I ask a question?
Human beings as a whole are not going to be scientifically literate, bro. There's only going to be a small percentage of that. We're not designed to be scientifically literate human. We got to fight against our natural instinct to become scientifically literate and critical thinkers.
Can I say something now? Can I say something? Growing up, I had a fundamental fear because I learned the story about Ananias and Sapphira. Anybody know the story about Ananias and Sapphira? That they denied God and they were struck down and killed. And that story gives you a fear that, listen, if you deny the existence of God or don't give God his fear trade or fear deal, you will be struck down like Ananias and Sapphira. You know, it's like this thing fully covers itself fully, you know. It covers both the negative and the positive, you know. Don't doubt, because if you doubt, you're going to be struck down. And if you don't follow, you're not going to go to heaven.
Yeah, I mean, because it was created at a time and developed at a time where it was important for everybody to stick together. You can't have motherfuckers doing their own shit and stepping out, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. You need to stay in line. Like, you can't have rogue individuals with their own concept speaking out. Like, so yeah, it's gonna be that way. Yeah.
No, but no, when you bring it to other people, because trust me, my grandmother told me that God so come. When I was 6 years old, I remember grandma said, God so come for the world, and you need to get your soul in order. And my grandmother dead now more than 10 years. I'm born them supposed to white. So she spent the whole of her life looking up into the heavens. Anybody ever see an Awake magazine yet?
Yeah, but what was the moral? What was the theme? What was the significance in her telling you that? What does she want you to do with your life and live your life based on that, based on what she said?
No, she wanted to live my life, believing in our
She
Lord and
wanted you,
Savior Jesus Christ.
yeah, and that you would live your life righteous, that you would be respectful, that you would be like that you would treat people kindly, because like it ain't just like just believe in God, nigga. Like, nah, it's a whole morale, it's a whole theme to it. Like y'all being disingenuous about all this shit.
The mom, the dude that has bring home the money and give him mother, and she know he's selling dope out there. She don't pray that God protect him.
Of course.
Of course she pray, because you supposed, because nobody, even people that's not doing well, like nigga, like you got a cousin right now that ain't, or a friend that ain't, that's still doing the bullshit, right? You know he on bullshit. You don't just older nigga, you hope he get his shit right. That's just regular shit. Like we didn't even need religion for that.
You understand why I say that though? You understand why I said that though? Because to create the argument that mama want me to do right. That's why she talking God.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said her purpose for telling you that was about you being righteous. Like the God concept, that's her tradition. But the theme is to be righteous and live yourself in a righteous manner, bro. Like you can't deny that part of it. Like what we doing?
Cedric,
mama playing over
Cedric,
drug dealer son.
Cedric, let me tell you a story. Cedric, let me tell you a story. Hold on, let me tell you a story. I have a cousin who was a shotter. If you can look it up on the news, there's a community in Jamaica named Reddings. He went in there, kicked off the door, and killed 5 people.
Yeah, Red Hills, yeah, I got some people in Red Hills. Yeah, I've been in Red Hills.
He went into the house, kicked off the door, and killed 5 people.
Red Hills, that's mansion,
right.
rich. That's rich.
Right? He killed 5 people. About a week later, the police found him, kicked off his door, and killed him. And his mother was in the middle of the street bawling, Jesus, God, look how them kill my good son, God. God, help me, God. Help me, God. And this boy was a mass murderer. This boy had more bodies on him than a Chinese cemetery.
So you're saying that
and his mother was in the middle of the street holding her head and bawling out, Jesus. Look
right.
If God
all right, so Stupid, let me ask you this. So you tell me
God
that
did exist, God would have come shut her a box.
Hold on. If she wasn't religious, right? No, hold on. If she wasn't religious, you're saying that then the mother would have been like, it's a good thing you killed my son, because that nigga was crazy there.
No. Guess what? Should I have real morals? Should have fanciful moral that God going to change our son. That religion is going to change our son and turn him into a better person. That if I pray for him,
hell, and you be people come back turning kids into hell and bring on the teacher, bro. Like, yeah.
How much grandmothers out there go on them knees and say, oh Lord, I pray for him every day, see? I pray that him change his life and become a better person and stop selling dope in the street.
That's what all people do.
No,
you might not pray. You might not pray, but you do the same thing.
Your friends riding them scooters up and down.
You might say, man,
my father tell me, you see them fellas riding scooters up and down? You ever bring anything here that I didn't buy for you? I am carrying you to the police station myself.
That is immoral.
You said that she's religious. Like that's not something that's separate from religious folks, bro. Like y'all just.
But how much? Be honest. Sosa, am I lying? How much? All of the dudes, you know, them grandmother in the house praying for them every day, and them in the streets destroying the community.
Yeah, they praying for them because they want them to change up. They want them to stop doing it.
They ain't gonna do damn shit to deal with the issue.
Right. So they was atheists, so they would go out there. They would go out there and deal with the shit. Grandma would go out there, grab this top shot to and snatch him by the neck.
I said, listen, you can't come to my house with this bullshit because you have different morals.
Exactly. If you ain't got even home for doing that shit, it usually don't happen, man.
Religious people do this. You know good and well. You know religious folks that do the same shit, bro. Like,
if you know coming home with that nonsense means you're dead, if you know that you are not safe coming home after having done some shit like that, if you understand that your home is not a safe haven when you commit those type of shit, you don't do it. I am living testament. I am in the Netherlands. I'm offered £1 to sell. My
That's
father never traveled to the Netherlands yet.
You already-
I'm in
you
the
already
Netherlands. My friend say, hey, I got £1 of weed here you want to sell? My answer was, my father will kill me. And I'm 1,000+ miles away on the other side of the Atlantic. And my answer was, you crazy? My father is going to kill me.
Yeah, but that's
No praying going on there. I
that's
know
called
physically
listen to the
I
word.
was going to
There's no
die.
safe
that's
heaven.
called
There's no-
anecdotal. That's called an anecdotal fallacy.
It's not anecdotal.
And your apologetics is just apologetics. My point is, your grandmama praying for you while you are a criminal is to get you to change? Bullshit. What action did she actually take?
No, listen to this. How many Christians, mothers and grandmothers out there driving the drug dealing Benz? I've seen it. I've seen it.
Of course they do.
Grandma,
I'm sure
grandma
the
driving
other
the drug dealer
But-
grandson Benz.
But more on campus
She's driving the drug dealer grandson Benz to church.
Yeah, some do. But now you're saying some do and some don't, bro. Just like some mothers who are religious will do the same shit and some won't, bro. Like this.
That's
People
what I'm
are
saying.
people,
So
bro.
that you can't use that argument. So
People are
the
people.
argument you brought
That is-
up,
That is the
yourself
same
saying,
argument that I've been
you
saying,
can't
bro.
use it now.
I'm
That's
using the
why you
same
can't use it
argument
now.
that people are people, bro. Like they gonna do the same. Like it doesn't. Like even in all this, folks gonna behave in the same way. They just may not pray. They gonna still go hope the same shit. Man, I hope my son got to change his life. Some mothers will stand on that and kick him out of the house. Some mothers won't, bro. Religion, and like every person that say they're a Christian, don't really go to church like that. And like they ain't really. Like, come on, man. Like most people ain't fundamentally Christian like that, where they in church every day praying. They go through the rigmarole, bro. A lot of them don't even go to church on Sundays. No, they go to church on Easter, the big days, shit like that. Like, come on, man. These is regular folks. You know what I'm saying? Who be on some regular shit, and sometimes they backslide, sometimes they don't, bro. Some more firm, some less firm than others, bro.
Backslide? What I mean?
I'm talking about backslide as far as your morals, as far as like my son doing wrong, I shouldn't accept this money because he's making his money the wrong way. I shouldn't take this money, but then some will still take it and just use it because they feel like, well, I can use this money to do good with it, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But then some say, no, I don't want this money. You're making this shit the wrong way.
Now, does this
Right.
apply to the? How does this apply to giving value to the belief in God versus a leprechaun?
I'm not necessarily applying to give. I mean, what I'm saying is that for me, it doesn't, because that's not my standpoint. You know what I'm saying? With somebody else, that's just how, that's how they use it to push themselves forward. Then, shit, so be it. You know what I mean? But I can't tell them, like, in other words, like the way I do it may not be the way for everybody else. That's all I'm saying. Like everybody's not equipped to be atheists. Some people need a little security blanket. Some people need to believe like there's some moral or higher shit that's guiding them in life. Like some people need that little security blanket. Some people need that shit. Some people don't. You know what I mean? Some people can quit drugs cold turkey. Some people can't. Shit is how it is.
No, you don't.
So what?
You don't need it at all. That's
If
imaginary.
if you don't need it, then why
It's not a
would
need. It's like air. Air is a need. I don't agree with you, Sophie.
some people need it? Some people can quit drugs cold turkey. Some people can't. Some people got to go through that program. Some people gonna fail in the program. Some people gonna succeed. Some people need that shit. Some people don't.
No, that's wrong. That's not need, bro.
No, that's need. That means that they cannot, they are
No, it's
unable
not.
to do
You
it.
know what needs are? The need is like breathing and eating. You don't need religion.
No, need is something. No, I'm talking about in terms of needing it, meaning that they would fail if they didn't have it. So when we're talking in terms of when we
Yeah, I
say
heard what
need
you
in
said.
this, yeah, so when we're using the word need in this context, it means that in order for them to succeed or pull through, they need that shit, right? Or they're not going to be able to pull through. You know what I'm saying? Certain mother,
I just disagree. I disagree with that.
I mean,
I understand what you're
disagree.
saying, so
You can disagree.
I just disagree.
That's fine.
Hey, Sosa.
People convince themselves
Hey, Sosa,
that
I
they
agree
need
with you, yo.
this entity
Yeah,
that
but
exists outside of them that don't have any
thank
real
you.
influence on their existence, yet they need it.
But not some people, most people. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Sosa, I think I agree with you because, you know, over time, that same belief has been working for them. So at this point, they need it because it's like I'm saying that's the foundation for them. So yeah,
Right.
they do need it right now because I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The shit
But
been
has it
working
been
for them.
working though?
The
Huh?
belief has done nothing for them. No,
Listen,
I don't know.
Has it
I
been working though?
understand that
The belief ain't
you
never
may
done nothing.
say that. Listen for a second. You may say that, but to that person, they may
That's a
think it's
fact.
working. So
That's a
if it's
fact.
working for them, right?
Yeah, but you just said the right. You just said it right there.
Let him get it out. Let
said
him
it
get it
right.
out. Let him get it out. Let him get it out.
I
Then you
go ahead.
go.
I know what he's saying though. He already said it. But he said
That's
they
what I'm
think
saying.
it's working for them. It hasn't done nothing at all.
Well, guess what? They got proof from their life. They may think because of their lifestyle. I mean, if they think that, they need that shit.
I'm telling you.
At the end of the day, yo, after like 30
So
years, after
like
30 years of believing that shit, and somebody be like, yo, this shit's
Listen,
not true. Like, yo, you can't prove that shit
he's
to
the
them.
I'm all
kid
about
glove
correct
Corey be
thinking.
talking about. He's just the kid glove Corey be talking about. Thank you.
Like anecdotal references are based on your confirmation bias. So are we not allowed to challenge the illogical and irrational way of thinking that exists within our community?
You can challenge it. That has nothing to do with it. With
Yes,
the
exactly.
You can challenge that. That's not an issue. The issue
Yeah,
is
like
We know this shit
that's
fake.
why
We know
that's why
it's
I asked. That's why I asked this fundamental question. We have tools to distinguish fact from reality. We have all kind of statements. Now there are tools that are to our devices that allow us to distinguish what is reality and what is imaginary. Up until this point in time, every piece of information about a God is within the realm of the imagination. There is nothing factual about this idea, this concept. My question is, even now in this discussion, it is as if we give the concept of a God special reverence in opposition to what we would do if we heard red dragon, mermaid, leprechaun. We make a distinction in between these ideas and the God concept, whereby when they're both in the imaginary field, like why do we do that?
But if they're working for the people and they ain't hurt nobody, why try to change it?
And the distinction being made between God and the red dragon is because under that concept of a God is a whole spiritual and moral understanding of how one should live his life. Versus the red dragon, I don't know what the morality, I don't know what the concept is behind the fundamental living of a red dragon or a mermaid. Now, if you break that down to me, then I can more understand.
Hey man, my mother's a Christian. She ain't never said nothing but no damn red dragon.
Hold on.
Because they know red dragon. We know people.
Because they got a story. So what about Superman?
I'm saying, like, tell me, did the red dragon take his people out of Egypt and
That's
part the Red
irrelevant.
Sea?
That's
Find me a red
irrelevant.
guy that did that.
So now, right now, so what you're doing is you're taking that imaginary story and using it as if there is something factual about it. You see, you just made the exact slip what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
With the concept of God, there is nothing about the God story that is outside the realm of imagination. There is nothing factual about it.
That's fine. I can agree with that. But within that imaginary construct, there's a system of how one should live his life within that imaginary construct that has been embedded and instilled in the human civilization ever since before nigga could write, and led to every civilization that you see as great had those systems that brought us to where we are today, bro. Period.
Good. So, for example, the Greek area people, Scandinavia, they had a complete and elaborate concept of their spirituality, Odin, the whole 9 yards. Today, these countries are 99.9% atheists, no belief whatsoever. Finland, Norway, Greenland, Iceland, all atheist countries. They let go of their imaginary concept as a nation. The morality and everything that built their societies existed within those same concepts. They far let them go because they serve no purpose, because they have of an imaginary origin and serve no purpose in reality today. So what's our problem?
Okay, so now let's go to we go to the Middle East and we look at goddamn, what's the place? What is it? Abu Dhabi? Was it Abu Dhabi where you have the all the high tech trains and that crazy advanced man-made built islands, right? All these like their technology is far more advanced than the shit we got in America, train system, shit like that, and they still got the Islam shit.
That technology was built by Islam?
The niggas is Islamic.
Wait. The technology, did it come out? Did it come out of Islam? Did Islam produce the technology?
The point is that they have the shit and they still have a religion. That's the point.
But the religion did nothing for the shit that they had.
You can't say the religion did nothing for the shit they had when they are that religion, bro.
How does making that point, how does saying that, Sosa, help your point in reference to needing the religion to substantiate your society? When I showed
I didn't say every human being and every people need it. I said some people need it. So the people that don't need it, bro.
I'm showing you countries. In contrast to the argument you made, that we need it for moral.
I say some people, it doesn't. You can use 17. It doesn't matter how many countries you use. Some people need it. Some people don't.
Most people.
Yo, let's use the Black Americans. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I'm doing. So, like, when it's convenient, we're talking about the peoples, and when it's convenient, it's individuals. Like, we can have a discussion. But again, whenever you return to it's still within the Black community, you cannot still challenge the fundamentals of belief. Like, I'm asking what gives us any more reason to give validity to one imaginary idea over the next? The answer should be nothing, nada, zip, zero.
We're not trying to give validity of that. We're not trying to give validity for God. We're not trying to do that.
We do that.
We're not trying
we
to
do
do that.
that.
We're not trying to do that.
We do that by having debates, by having debates, by dissecting the Bible.
Let me just get some clarity. Let me get some clarity, Cedric. So what do you think? So we got an African American community that mostly spiritual, Christian, mother, whatever. What do you think we should do? And how do you think we should go about doing something, getting them to do something different? Give me your plan.
And because we had a different experience too. Now remember that. Remember that.
Yeah, what's your
Different
plan?
experience.
What's the
Yeah,
plan?
we had
What should we do,
absolutely.
Cedric? What should we
The
do,
black,
Cedric?
Like,
black
for
American
example,
had
there are
experience
there are
we
there are
never-
active, for example, active atheism, like promoting scientific literacy, promoting a philosophical understanding on how to build logical thought process. These are the activities we should actively engage in. When we're giving pushback to religious people, you need to question their logic and their reasons. For example, by stating simply why, like it's imaginary.
But
Nothing
the
about it is
promotion,
real.
but
Why
the
we having this
promotion of
discussion?
the promotion of
lie.
STEM, the promotion of STEM doesn't come with atheism. Like you don't that's not something that you just promoting STEM does not an atheistic point of view.
You know
So I'm
why?
saying,
You know why a lot of black people. You know why a lot of black people fail when they go to the next level? Because from the time they start to have to deal with evolution, their God concept sticks to them too hard, and they can't make it through. They can't reason beyond the idea of a God, and it stops the logical thinking process.
Then
For a
why
lot of people,
are
they get stuck.
why are like half the scientists? Why are half the scientists spiritual?
They don't use come on, bro. That's
Nah,
why
but
y'all
they
do
still
that?
because
So, sir, you want us to pull up a survey for scientists and philosophers who are religious versus the amount that are completely atheists?
You can pull it up. You can pull it up. We've already done it before. We've done it not too long ago.
Hey, Cedric.
You won't come over the same amount. What have?
Now I got a question for you, Cedric. So if someone believe in this Jesus Christ or whatever, and they ain't bothering nobody, and they're a productive person in society, are you gonna go in? Listen,
talk, man, talk. Let him get his point out tomorrow, bro. Let him get his point out, bro.
They're not fucking with nobody. They're productive. Listen, they're a productive citizen in society, helping out the community, helping out black children. Why would you go to them and tell them about science and all of this shit about God? It doesn't really matter if they believe it or not, but they need it because that's how they getting through. So who cares if they doing the right thing? And like Sosa said, that shit come with a lot of principles and morals that people really hold to. You know what I mean?
Such as?
So why go to them?
Principles and morals. Which principles and morals? In every religious community, you have the highest rate of teenage pregnancy.
Listen, yes,
sexual abuse is the highest in every religious community.
That's not number.
What else?
And you can't use that number, Cedric, because most of the people are religious. Like that's already like fallacious to even try to do that.
Plus,
like, show me the data. Show me the data that you're using to construct that argument. That shit make no sense.
Come on, man. Plus, the popular America, yo, we went through an experience of slavery where we had to use that. God, I'm not saying this shit is real. We know they're real, but that's what they used to get out what they was in. As far as, you know, they thought it was more protection. Dog, they thought it was protection, dog. When I grew up, yo.
You keep telling me what they thought. I thought we were talking about.
No, but if they're working for them, if it's working for them, why would you want to go to them? How do you know that? How do you know that?
Because it's not doing a damn thing. Because it's
do you know the person? You can't say that.
Yeah, like you're just saying it's not working for them. Like what would be proof? Tuck. What would be proof for you that it's working for them? Like what would you accept as proof that it's working?
Wait, sidebar. I seen Ugas get beat up, but we're gonna talk about that later.
Good question, Sosa.
What would I need to say that again?
What would you need for proof to say, okay, it's working for you? What would you say? Okay, what you got it? Okay, you working? Okay, cool. You got a job, you got a house. Okay, cool.
I need God to land on Times Square.
No, that's not the question. That's not the question, dude. That's not the question. No, answer the specific question.
He asked me.
What would be proof for you? What would be proof for you that you would look at them and see it's working for them? Okay, damn, you making that shit work for you. What would be evidence? And you go, damn,
I need for them to prove the religion. Why did my answer work? Why Why did my answer suffice for you? You gotta prove the religion first. That's why.
You're not answering the question, brother.
Nah,
Answer the question, brother.
I absolutely did.
Yo, man, you gaslight.
I absolutely answered the question.
You did not answer the question.
I absolutely
You
answered
answer
the
the
question.
question, yo.
You
So that's
really did
crazy.
not.
If you say something ain't working for somebody,
Religion is working.
that's crazy. You can't say that shit. You can say
Yeah,
the
I
religion
mean,
ain't working for you.
the man, like
I just said it.
like when you see another person, whether black person, whoever, that's he's pretty much successful. He's taking care of his family. He's a good dude. He's living his life right. You feel like, okay, yo, that's a good dude, right? If that person is Christian and he's placed that shit on his Christian values, then he's making that shit work for him. Like you can't be like, nigga, that shit ain't working for you.
No matter if this shit ain't real or not.
It doesn't matter if the shit's real.
Idea working for us. Listen, I can tell the level of spookism I'm dealing with right now to even make a statement like that. That shit working for him. What it doing? That's like saying the Obeah working too. Like, what does it do? What does it do? It working for him. What does it do? It working for him. But what does it do?
What do you think it's supposed to do?
Everybody is individual. It's an individual thing.
Does it do?
It's an individual thing.
It does nothing.
Bro, it's not
That's a simple
individual
answer.
thing.
It does nothing. It physically, actively does nothing but disturb the logical
in that
thinking.
person's mind,
That's the angry
mind
atheist.
is working for them.
Right.
In that person's mind,
Thank you, white man, for
What is it doing?
Yeah,
What
the
is
white
it
man
doing?
did not create. The white man did not create religion. The white man did not create
I
religion, bro.
don't care
Stop
who
that shit.
create religion. Spookism is spookism. Don't bring that white man argument to me.
Hey, we
That
ain't even
white
talking
man
about
argument don't
spookism.
apply.
We're not talking about all that. We know it's
Spookism is
fake.
spookism.
But
If you
it's
cut the
working
chicken head
for
off,
them,
if you cut the chicken head off and dance around it and suck, I'm gonna laugh just as hard as if you go to church on Good Friday, thinking that a dude was crucified.
Hey, let me ask you this, dude. Let me ask you a question.
I agree with
You are an atheist, right? Let me ask you a question. So you're an atheist, right? So what have you been doing in the community? What have you done in the community in the last 5 years?
Wait, who you talking to? You talking to
I'm
me?
talking to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
You want to know why you doing the community?
Now you said
really want-
I didn't say you, Cedric.
Okay.
I didn't say you. I'm asking the guy because we're gonna see
You
if you're
talking to
working
me?
for him. Yes. What have you done in the community in the last 5 years?
That's weird. This is weird.
I promote logical thinking, reasoning, and healthy thought process. So every time I'm confronted with somebody who talks to me about God,
I'm trying to show you what if someone thinks about, you know what I'm saying, if they're a Christian, like my mother's a Christian. She have little kids and all of that. So it's working for her. I'm seeing this shit is working for him. This atheist, if you are still connected with the community,
you haven't
still being a
told me,
productive
you haven't told
citizen.
me nothing
I want
about
to.
work. You haven't told me nothing about work. You haven't told me nothing about nothing. You just
You haven't
just
answered the
saying
question.
it's working for them.
You haven't answered the
You
question.
see?
What does it
So we
look
gotta
like?
conversate now. Yo,
Wait.
you see,
Watch this. I can say anything I want. I can say religion is working. It don't mean shit. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
no, it's
make
not
a
about.
claim. You make a claim,
I'm building houses.
nothing to substantiate the claim. This is where irrational thinking comes in. What does it works for you mean? How? Substantiate that.
It looks
That's
like
What
this.
that
It
means
looks-
is
I
what
just
that
told you.
means is
I
that
just
what that
told you.
means is that you've taken the principles given to you under whatever system it is, and you use that to construct the life to live yourself upright and be the productive citizen in society. That's what it means by it's working for you.
Yes. You giving back. You have that concept. You take it. Come on, man. You take care of the community. Who gives a fuck if you believe in African or whatever?
Who gives a
If
fuck?
you
Yeah.
that, it's working.
Who gives a damn?
Who gives a fuck about that?
Shit, that other shit extra.
Yo, who gives a
Like-
fuck about this? I mean, we know the science is real, but like I'm saying, if you said to these people who's been doing this for 30 years, a productive citizen, take care of their family, instilling in their kids morals and values and the right shit to do, how can you go to them and say, hey, let's do this science shit, God ain't real, whatever? Why do that? If they're a productive citizen and they're helping the Black community. We know this shit ain't real, but what's the purpose on telling them, hey, that shit ain't real? But if they're already
The
productive,
purpose
hey,
in
who
telling
cares?
them they ain't is because the moment that they come, because an atheist don't give a damn about no gods. I don't walk around thinking or interested in no gods. It's irrelevant. However, I reserve the right to question you anytime you come to me with your God concept. And you tell me about your Jesus, and you tell me, and you make the claim, because of course, most of your Christians didn't go through the exercise of how to reason and think logically. So you think making an empty claim to me, someone like me, it is working for me. Quantify that. What do you mean? What's
But we're
working?
not, okay, dig it. We're
Stop,
not
stop.
talking
Let
about
me
those
finish
people.
my sentence.
Go
Let
ahead,
me
go ahead,
finish
go
my
ahead.
sentence. Based on logical understanding, you would know that there is no way you can quantify that claim. So then you would understand that that makes no sense to actually say an idea is working for you. You are actually applying everything yourself. These principles, what are they actually from the Bible? Again, I don't really know, because they don't have any clear principles, because the Bible is the biggest contradiction in itself, right? Morality from God, God has none. God
Cedric, I got you.
absolutely has none. So I don't understand where you're going to tell me you're looking to the Bible for morality, because there is none in the Bible.
Listen. I'm
Like
not
so
talking about
when
that.
you tell me it's
I'm not
working,
talking about the
I
people.
stuck
I'm
by
not listening.
what's working. How is it working? What's working? Do you sit in
listen.
your living room and shit get done because God is doing it? Or do you actively engage in your life, and everything that is done is executed by your person? So I question the logic in giving away everything that you do, the information that processes by your brain, to a spook outside of yourself that doesn't exist. I reserve the right to question the logic behind that thinking.
Duly noted. Check it out, yo. I'm not talking about the people who are pushing the Jesus and trying to turn you into a Christian. I'm talking about the motherfuckers who just stay into themselves and helping the community, and they believe in that. Why go to them if it's working for them? It's working. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the people coming to you and telling, hey, this shit is true. No, I'm not talking about those people. I don't believe in this shit. My mother doing this working for her. Hey, it's working for her. I say, hey, mom, get a black Jesus instead of white Jesus. Fuck it. If she's doing good, she's a good mother. Who gives a fuck about that shit? That's what I'm saying.
I choose to sit my mother down when she starts with her Jesus stuff and say, Mom, you know that this dude ain't real. And here's why. And here's why. And here's why. So you know how you sound to your son. Like you understand that, man? Like, I reserve that right to not leave my mother ignorant.
Your mother a good woman? Is your mother a good woman?
I reserve that right to not
is
allow
your mother
my mother
a good woman?
to live
is
in
your mother
ignorance.
A good woman, bro? Is your
It's
mother
irrelevant. It's irrelevant to the subject. It's irrelevant.
Is she a good
It's
woman?
Irrelevant. If my
No, it's
mother,
not.
if my
No,
mother
because it's
thought
a woman.
thought
Why try to
that
convince her
thunder
that
is
there's no
produced
God?
by God,
She's a good fucking woman,
if
yo.
my mother used, if
Get
my
outta here with
mother
that.
thought that thunder
That's a
was
waste of
produced
time,
by
man.
a God, I
That's a waste
reserve
of
the
time,
right
man.
to say, Mama, no, sit down. You know how thunders actually happen? This is the process by which thunders created. I reserve that
Say,
right
I don't
to
believe that shit.
educate my mom.
And then if she say, I
No?
don't believe that shit, then what you gonna do?
Okay.
She say, I don't believe that shit, and she's a good woman, what are you gonna do?
Okay. Then I say, okay.
Right.
Then I say, okay.
There you go.
Right.
There you fucking go.
Long as she
However, I'm not gonna allow her. I'm not gonna be the one to lie to neither her nor my kids by saying, Mama, yes, you're right. Yes,
Not
God bless. Yeah.
The only thing you would say is, listen, as long as she ain't standing outside in the rain with a metal rod in her hand, she good.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No. I
You know
gonna
what?
sit Mama
If
down.
you know when that lightning
I am a
strikes,
grown man.
indoors.
I'm a grown man enough. Maybe
nobody,
because I left home at
nobody
17. I a grown man enough to sit Mama down, and say, Mama, you know Jesus? That shit ain't real.
I had that conversation, brother, especially going to college. I had that shit. You know what I'm saying? Why the fuck am I beat my mother in the head with that bullshit?
My guys, my family members are preachers, man, reverends, bro. They know my stance.
They know how I feel. Like, come on. Like, I don't gotta explain it. They know how I feel. We've already had certain conversations, so I don't gotta beat their head up with this shit. You know what I mean? They feel like they feel. I respect that. You know what I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Especially if they're good people.
So you had a conversation though. So you challenge them at a certain point though.
Yeah, of course I challenged them in the past, but I mean, yeah, because I want to let them know my stance on how I feel. But once they know how I feel, and I know how they feel, so we good.
So they just come preaching still?
Nah, they know I ain't. They know that I'm not on that, bro. But that don't mean. Right? But that don't mean that they don't pray for me because they feel like they feel like
so they
God,
do that.
Yeah,
I'm asking right here.
I ain't never gonna ask them to start praying for me. They can pray for me.
I my mama don't pray for me, yo. You know what I'm saying?
Pray for me, nigga. Yeah.
You know, I don't believe in the different shit. I'm not gonna tell my mother who loves me, don't pray for me, mom.
Okay, go ahead. All right.
I've told her, I was like, yo, I already told my mom, if I die before you, yo, I don't want no Jesus around, all that shit. Hey, my mom be like, babe, I'm praying for you. I said, all right, mom, it's cool. She loves me, man. Get the fuck out of here, yo.
Yeah. So you expect Jesus to change your mind?
No, I don't care what she thinks.
You that powerful.
It's working for her. It's working for her.
That's my comeback. So you expect Jesus to change your mind?
Because guess what? When you dead and they're having a funeral, the shit ain't for you, nigga. You dead. That's for them.
My kids gonna bury me, and my kids are atheists.
That's good, and that's great. That's great. But even if they work, but the funeral ain't for you.
Like science and technology, logical reasoning, and understanding when I make a claim versus when I have a hard fact. Those things work for everybody.
Yeah, like you're trying to. That's what I'm saying. I think like you're trying to justify atheism to people that are already atheists, bro. Like nobody disagrees with that shit.
No, I'm asking why are we so sensitive and tentative when it comes to the idea of a god versus a leprechaun and a damn mermaid? And all I'm getting is a bunch of open-ended excuses and claims that have no support.
Guess what? My mother don't believe in a mermaid.
The answer is we shouldn't be given that.
Ain't nobody in the church talk about mermaids, dog.
We shouldn't be given that. We shouldn't be given one imaginary concept any more reverence than the other.
Yeah, that's true for all atheists, Cedric. Yeah, we agree. Okay.
Cedric, let me ask you a question. What was science? What science was available for the slaves when they got out of slavery? You know what I mean? Because they did use religion and spirituality, whatever they did use. So if they didn't use the spirituality and the religion that they, thought was real, what scientific thought that you could give them that could get them out of that shit right now? I mean, back then, because that's what they used when they got out of slavery now. But
that's not a good question. That's not a good question.
That's a good question. That's
not a good question. Let me tell you why. Let me answer that. Cedric, let me answer
that. Rich, before we had the email, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Before we had the email, right? We used to send information with pigeons. So even if I would go back then, what would I give them? I would give them some understanding of the poison that they could use when they cooking to kill the slave master. I would teach them about some of the bushes around them that they could use to create a poison.
I mean, that should sound good.
Yeah, they had that. Yeah, they had that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because manzanilla trees are all over the Caribbean. So I would teach them how to use the manzanilla to kill the slave master. I wouldn't teach them about no God. I would teach them some science.
Yo, on the plantation system, man,
you ask me a question, I give you an answer.
Man, yo, nah. So just poison and they out of slavery. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. All it is a good poison. We've been free.
Poison and they out of fucking slavery. Okay.
That's it. We out. Yeah,
God get him out. God get him out.
Nothing to bring the people together.
God get him out. So Rich, the poison would not get them out. But you say God is who got them out.
I said
What
that the
magic
shit
God
that they
you
was practicing. I said they was practicing some spirituality and some Christianity. That's the shit that helped them get out.
How, Rich? How? What does
Because
spirituality
they
do?
out. Because
What did
they
the
out
Christianity
right
do?
now. Because we free
Oh,
right now.
They
And we
use
know
it,
what
bro.
we was doing.
They use
know
it.
what we
So
was
you
doing.
just
They
you
use
just
it.
attach the claim
You know
to it.
what?
You just attach the
Cedric,
claim to
Cedric,
it,
you know
and that
why?
makes it a fact.
You know one of the reasons that gave the Europeans advantage over the Africans, that enabled them to do what they did, is because they moved under a unified religion. Technology aside, they unified under one concept.
Technology. If they didn't have the technology, they wouldn't go anywhere.
Of course but everything is just not based on technology, bro. Technology serves no purpose.
Without it, we wasn't having this
Cedric,
discussion.
of course, bro. Of course, but technology.
That's why
Cedric,
the Africans who were united under their gods couldn't win the fight.
Are you gonna let me respond, or are you just gonna rant? Because
So
technology.
the Africans weren't united under their gods.
No, they were not. They were not under small tribal systems, small groups.
That's not true.
They didn't have a unifying. Bro,
that's not true.
That is true, bro. Like, are you kidding me?
That's not true.
Okay, well, give me. Okay, hold on. Stop. Give me the unifying religion of West Africa. That unified the concept.
They didn't need a unifying religion, but you need to understand that if you are able to extract more than 20 million people out of Africa, when Europe and England, when London didn't have a population of 5 million, when England didn't have a population of 5 million, but you could extract 20 million people out of Africa, both ends, the transatlantic and the trans-Saharan slave trade extracted millions and millions of people. These people were united as a tribe with similar religion.
They were not united. They were never united as a tribe. They fought against each other tribally, bro.
It wasn't a united Europe that came
you can start at, bro. We did a whole
countries which was
bro.
far
We did a
smaller than anything that was in Africa.
whole show on Queen Nzinga in the Congo, and we talked about all the different tribes that was.
Listen, when Queen Nzinga was in the Congo,
we're talking about the Congo.
Listen, no, you need somebody bring up a map. I'll show you where the Congo is. By the time they reach, please let me finish. Please don't cut me. Please don't cut me. Dude, please don't cut me. Please don't cut me. When Queen Nzinga, where the Congo is relative to where Ghana is, and to where the West Africa is, the move is after they literally finished raping most of those countries and we're moving in for fresher meat.
What does that got to do with the point that we're
No,
talking
but you
about?
said they were. You said they. No, hold on. You said they were tribal fighting. These kingdoms were large, but the Europeans had steel and guns. You need to understand what's happening.
Nobody's saying that some. I never said that some kingdoms were not large. Some are large, some are small.
But the larger ones were also taking over. Yeah,
you know how, and that's how did they become large? That's how they become large, by spreading and conquering other people. But what I'm saying is that what the Portugal and Spain were at odds. They were at odds with each other, but they were able to unite. Under Christianity, bro.
No, that's true, untrue. You see, if you understand what was happening.
Stop. You just said that's untrue.
That's untrue.
Explain to me why. Well, explain to me why it's untrue. I don't want you to talk about nothing else. Explain to me why what I just said is untrue.
Let me tell you what was happening. When the Black Plague came to Europe, all other countries were decimated apart from Portugal. You can go and look that up for a fact. Portugal was not decimated by the Black Plague. That's why Portugal was technologically one of the most advanced countries in Europe. They had the best ships. That's why they were able to sail around the coast.
What I'm saying is that
stop. Let me finish, please.
Hold on, because you're talking about something I'm not talking about. I'm asking you is how was the crown able to come to agreement with Portugal and Spain and say, okay, Portugal, you get this, Spain, you get this. How were they able to do that?
That happened years later. Bro,
it doesn't matter. I never talked about. I never
picked a date when it happened. I said the shit happened. You said it's untrue.
But you cannot.
You're making a claim, Sosa,
you
that they come
cannot
a
bundle. You
unified
cannot
under
bundle
religion
history like that.
is why
You
they
cannot
want.
bundle
That's
history
your
like
argument,
that.
Sosa.
That is what this is just plain history, I'm telling you, bro.
No, but you cannot
This is
bundle
just
history like that. You have to take history as in terms of the timeline in which it occurs.
I'm using, but I never gave a timeline. I
But
never gave a timeline. I said that they unified.
No, but you have to use history as in terms of a
What
timeline.
I'm saying is that they unified under
When?
that religion.
When?
And the Pope gave out edicts that determined who got what and who got this area, who did this over here, bro. That's what united them.
Of Europe. 2 countries of Europe, and
It
you're
doesn't
saying
matter.
a unified Europe, and that's why they were able to conquer.
I said a unified Europe. Like who the fuck? Like why you
unified
like
under
I think,
religion is
bro?
why
Like
they conquer.
y'all making arguments that shit don't even make no sense. I never said that. You talking about a unified Europe? They ain't never been a unified. I'm talking. I said those Europeans talking about Portugal and Spain, like certain
2 countries.
Like yeah, the concept and the purpose of religion, bro, is to unify people, bro. That's his main construct, bro. It unifies people together and
you're
binds
making
them.
that argument in context of that's the reason why they were able to conquer and create slavery. That's what you said, Sosa.
I'm saying that this concept allowed them to work together and put aside certain beasts and work together and unite in one fight, bro.
That's what untrue, because they never stopped fighting. The English never stopped fighting. That's why the English took over the Caribbean. The English took over the
later
Americas.
on, bro. The English is later on. They ain't Spain and Portugal. Like now you talking about other niggas. I'm talking about Spain. I ain't talking about the whole of fucking Europe, man. Like,
who was the largest slaver? 2 countries were the largest slavers of transatlantic slave trade. You need to understand it. It was Portugal and it was England. The Spanish did not go. The Spanish had slaves, but not on the magnitude of the Portuguese and the English. The Spanish had slaves, but never on the magnitude of the Portuguese and the English.
Who was in South America?
The Portuguese was in Brazil.
And Spain.
And Spain. Where? Tell me a large slave trade in the Spanish land. Tell me a significant slave trade in comparison to the Portuguese and the English in Spanish lands.
It's not in I'm not saying who. Like now we want to argue who's bigger, bro. Like now we changing which one's bigger than the other. That's not my point, bro. What I'm saying is that
you have to say it's bigger. The reason why we use the word bigger is that who was extracting more slaves from West Africa.
It does not matter who was extracted.
It wasn't the Spanish. It wasn't the Spanish. It was the Portuguese and it was the English.
The Spanish wasn't extracted because the crown, right, gave certain shit to Portugal in Africa. So yeah, Portugal was doing some damn extracting.
Which crown?
No. Which crown?
I'm talking about when I mean the crown, I mean the Pope. I'm talking about the Pope. When the Pope started the edicts, the papal bulls that goddamn uncle that read over goddamn years and years. We keep reading those papal bulls.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm going to repeat your argument that unification under religion is what afforded them the victory is mute. It is weapons that did that. It is technology.
First of all, I went through the shit again. And
Africans have religion too.
The European weapons.
They didn't have technology, right?
European weapons weren't shit when they arrived in Africa, bro. We don't have the discussion, bro.
What was the fundamental difference between the African and the European? They both had religion. They both had states. It was small groups of Europeans. It wasn't unified. That means the whole of Spain and the whole of Portugal. It was just a small contingent of people. What was the fundamental difference between the 2 groups? It was technology, right?
Steel
but that's
and
not what we're
guns.
talking about, though. That's not what they're
That's exactly what we're talking about. Religion being a fundamental aspect is mute.
Y'all are ignorant, and a lot of y'all are ignorant, and y'all keep making the same argument about goddamn guns and shit. Guns weren't shit. They traded guns. So that the gun shit. Now, if you want to talk about the shit to get over there, okay. But the guns weren't shit, bro. The spears were still mighty in the goddamn guns.
Anyway,
those guns weren't shit till way later on, bro.
So the guns wasn't the shit. I'm trading you the guns. I'm giving you 10 guns and I got 100. I give you 5 bullets and I keep 1,000 because
I'm giving you
it's the religion.
This is what I mean, Cedric, bro. We've had this conversation before. We've had a conversation before, and you're talking about something.
God was the difference.
You're having a conversation about something that you don't know.
And you just asked over here.
Yeah,
because if God was the difference,
like,
and not the guns.
You're gonna keep trying to talk over what I'm saying to ignore the fact that you're just saying the shit you're saying is just wrong. You don't know what you're fucking talking about.
I repeat exactly what you said.
You don't know what you're talking about. I'm saying
where did the Africans produce guns? Where did the Africans produce guns? So the trade is happening.
Who said
one way?
Who said African? Like
you making these mute points, which
forget about it, bro. Forget about it, bro. Forget about it, bro. Because you're not listening. You're arguing, and every time something came up, you say something crazy.
Africans had guns because they were trading guns. They don't produce guns, so
I didn't say that African. I never even. Once again,
so when we talk about guns,
once again, that's not what I said, bro. That's not what I said, bro.
Bring it up.
That is not what I
as a counter argument.
Why do you know? You don't even know what I said. So why are you talking about what I brought up? And you're repeating something I didn't even say. Like, what's the point in that shit, bro?
Every time you bring an argument, it'll move
did not know what
a counter argument.
No, you don't know what you don't even know. You can't even repeat what I said.
Repeat what you said. Repeat what you said.
You're arguing with me.
Let's stop. Repeat what you said. Repeat what you said. Give us clarity,
bro.
Repeat what you said.
What I'm saying is that the gun technology, bro. I went over this shit before. The gun technology wasn't shit back then when they first came to Africa, bro. That's why they needed the Africans to do it. They traded guns. I said they traded guns to the Africans. They traded that shit by the hundreds of the thousands. I said the gun didn't become sufficient to like the 1600s, bro. The gun was like one shot. You got to pump the shit with fucking gunpowder, musket shit. Half the time the shit blew up in your face, and then you couldn't even. The shit, it wasn't like a goddamn sniper rifle. You could pick a nigga off or some shit like that. The spears was so fucking mighty. The gun didn't become sufficient to way later on. That was my goddamn point.
Can I say something now? Please, let me say something now. When I need everybody in here to understand this. Everybody in here to understand this. A musket and versus a spear. Or a spear versus a sword. No, a spear has the range. If you have the spear in your hand, it has the range of about 6 foot with your hand fully extended with a spear. If you're going to throw a spear, you might be able to throw it 100 feet or 100 yards, not 100 yards, 100 feet. If you're going to throw a spear, musket.
So you're saying that the historians are wrong? I just want to know, Stu, are you saying the historians are wrong? Because this is not what I'm saying, Stu. Like, hold on, what I'm telling you, this is not me.
Stop.
I just want you to know, bro. This is not me saying this. This is not Sosa's point.
Please. Please.
Bro. Because you can make this shit up.
Please. Go and watch the Olympics. Go and watch the Olympics and see how far people who train.
What are you, Stupid? What I'm asking you is, what I'm asking you is that how much knowledge do you have about the type of guns that they were using when they came into Congo, bro? That's what I'm asking you.
All right, they were using musket and guns that fire one shot.
How did they load them?
No. But let me finish. No person was carrying any one gun at the time. A pirate didn't carry one gun on him.
Pirate, bro. But we're talking about the beginning. We're talking about in the beginning of Congo, bro. I don't want you to jump down to
Jamaica. Most of these sailors were pirates.
We're talking about.
Okay, all right.
We're talking about Congo, bro. Stay in Congo when they're arriving in Congo, when they start first breaking the country.
And what you're saying is that
in the 1400s, bro. In the 1400s.
No. Listen to what you're saying. You're saying that men who are going to war, who understand the limitation of the weapon that they're using, the musket that they're using, will be only carrying one musket at a time. That's what you're saying.
No. What I'm saying is,
what you're saying is that they would not overfly. No. Let me finish talking. No, let me finish talking. Please, because you're cutting me. You're cutting me. You're not allowing me. Dude, shut up,
Yo,
no.
man, hey,
Dude,
you just
dude,
talking,
shut
hey,
up and allow me to finish talking, no.
yes,
Just shut up and allow me to finish talking. You don't need sources for common sense.
No, I don't.
Yo, this
I
ain't
do need a
common
source.
sense,
Okay,
nigga.
all
I
right,
need a
okay,
source,
okay,
bro.
okay.
Common sense.
Let me see. All right,
And I
go
want
on talk.
I
Go
want
on
you to
talk.
pull
Go
up
on
guns
talk.
in the 1400, bro. That's what I want you to pull up.
Go ahead,
Guns
pull
in the
that shit up,
1400.
man.
Pull up guns in the 1400, bro, and tell me if they were carrying the one shot shit. Niggas running up with a rifle in the one shot shit, bro.
Do you know what a blunderbuster is? Do you know
Look
what
it
a
up.
blunderbuster is?
Did they have it in the 1400s?
Yes, they had it in the 1400s.
What is
A
it? Go ahead, break it down.
blunderbuster is a hand cannon where you load with shrapnel or metal or scrap. And when it shoots, it
I thought we
disperses in
talking
a
about
large
guns.
pattern
I
area.
thought we talking
That's
about
a,
guns.
Spell it for
then
me.
what is it? What
Spell it
is
for me.
that?
Spell it for me.
BLUNDERBUSTER. Blunderbuster, 14th century. Most pirates, most of those people carry hand cannons. They didn't aim. They just fired and it dispersed over a large area. They didn't carry any one weapon.
A hand
They carried,
cannon? A hand cannon?
dude, stop talking and learn. Don't respond because you don't know.
I ain't never heard of a hand cannon. That's what I'm saying, bro.
We don't get it from up. See it 14.
Peace, good brothers. Peace, good brothers.
All right.
African Black Power.
I've seen,
African Black Power. Shalom.
I'm seeing 1760. Let me see if I can find something.
Go back further. Go back further. They were primarily used to clear ships, the decks of ships.
I don't.
Ashe
I'm looking
Hotep.
now. What's going on? I'm looking now. I'm looking
Yeah.
now.
Look
I don't
for
see
history
nothing.
of
I
the
don't see
blunderbuster.
nothing.
Hey, he must have been mistaken, yo.
Yeah, why the blunderbuss is often associated with the Plymouth colony put in 1620. Evidence suggests that the blunderbuss was relatively scarce in the American carton. Okay, that's 1700. Nah, bro.
1400.
Nah,
Ain't nothing,
bro.
homie. So,
Nah,
yo,
Let's
bro.
go back to
300.
early. Go back to early handguns. Go back to early handguns and look at it. All of you thinking about the flintlock rifle, the flintlock
you say
pistol.
the blunder,
Look
Oh,
at the
right?
blunderbuss that.
Father. You asked me for an example, I
Stay
give
right
you
there.
one.
Stay at the blunderbuster.
Okay, Jesus. Go ahead. Look at the blunderbuster. Look at the picture of the blunderbuster. What does it look like?
I know
You're
what it
looking
is.
at
Say what time period?
You
I
did
said-
not know what it is because I just read. You asked me to spell it. You did not know what it was.
Please, I did not know the name of the gun. I said, don't bring me no shit that pirates were using in goddamn Jamaica times. I said, I'm talking about the 1400s, bro.
All right, let's go to 1400 weaponry. Because the dude in the back just talking. And all right,
Hey,
let's
the
go to
blunder is not in
1400.
the 1400, brother.
Yes, honey.
The blunderbuster is not in the 1400s.
Yeah.
That's what
You
we're
talk
talking
about goddamn fucking Blackbeard,
Goddamn.
pirate Blackbeard and
You know what I'm
shit.
saying?
Nigga.
That's why I said fucking pirate. The fuck?
Yeah.
And it wasn't. Listen. When was the New World discovered? The 14th
talking
century?
Nah,
Congo, brother.
I'm
No,
in
no, no.
Congo, bro. Congo. When the Europeans came to Congo
When
in the
did the Congo go
1400s.
to the 1400? Is that the 14th century or the 15th
About
century?
14, let's just say 1450. They in there, you know what I'm saying?
So they came in the 5th, we call it the 15th century.
Yeah, they in the 15th. I was saying 1450
All
about
right.
yeah.
15th century, weapons of the 15th century.
Crazy.
In the
Women with their
15th
greatest
century.
weapon.
You need to be in Congo. You need to be what they have
No.
when they were in Congo.
No. Look.
Talking about
All
the
right.
Congos, man.
Look for the culverin, Culverin. That's in the 15th century. A common in the 15th century battle, particular,
Where
right?
you at?
So,
Where you at?
Culverin.
CLV.
Right?
CLV.
With two small cannons in Europe in the 15th century. Artillery's crew were generally recruited from the city's craftsman, the master gunsmith. Go look for that weapon. That's a 15th century weapon.
I don't see it yet, but when you look into the history, just go into the history of guns, 2Ps.
What
they're gonna tell you is that, you know,
the guns, listen, guns could not be aimed. They didn't have a good aim.
Just let me explain to you also, bro, because I've done this before. When you get into the history of the guns, they're gonna talk about certain guns, right? And even though other guns may have been in existence that may have been better used, it was not affordable to be mass produced.
So oftentimes when you talk about pirates, and people that leave it on ships, they carry the shit that were mass produced. So so they may have had certain guns that they had that were even better at the time, but it wasn't mass produced later on. This is when you just look into the history
look
of the
for
gun.
the gun. No, look for the gun that I just mentioned, and it said it was popular. Once the European figured out firepower, it went into mass production almost overnight. Once the European figured out firepower, once the European figured out gun, it was almost as it went into mass production overnight. The Europeans were always warring amongst each other.
Yeah, but
Plus they were war, and plus they were war. Listen, and plus they
spell
were
it for me again. I just want to listen up, bro. Spell it for me again.
Ottomans. When the Ottomans decimated
Yo, spell the name of the gun for me again, bro.
they had cannons.
I know they had cannons, bro. Like I'm not talking about the
Like-
Ottomans. I'm
Guns,
talking about
man.
the freaking Portuguese people that came in the goddamn Congo in the 14th century. Now
Then
you want to talk about some guy?
the Portuguese had cannons on their ship too.
Bro, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Like
Guns.
nobody debating whether the motherfuckers
Guns.
had cannon, bro. We're
And
talking
they
about
had-
guns in the 14th.
I just gave it in the 15th century. I just gave it the name of the gun because when the Portuguese when did the Portuguese went there?
Spell it again for me. I can't. You said CELVURN. I don't see it.
Let me spell it again. CULVERIN.
CULVER. All right. Okay, I'm seeing the 16th or 7th century cannon with a relatively long barrel. That's in 16th century. And it's okay, a kind of handgun in the 15th or 16th century. But we got to
The
get
1400s, 15 to 14s.
Yeah, but I mean that's what I'm saying. You got to go to the Congo in the 1450, and that's see what that's used in the 15th and 16th century. But just because they're using it don't mean it's mass produced. You know what I'm saying?
It was mass produced. It was used in wars. It was mass produced. It was mass produced.
Yeah, well, he's saying that was the go-to. He's saying that was the go-to weaponry of the day.
Yes, it was.
He wanted to have a.
But
he
hold
wanted
on,
to have a.
this is what I want to explain to you, right? Like, listen. Let's say you got the musket and you got that gun, bro. Do you know the process it takes to load that shit?
But yeah, the musket can't cause as much damage as that. You know what I'm saying?
No,
you can
no,
load
no.
that in about 2 to 5 seconds and
No, you
destroy
got-
50, 20 to 30 people. The musket,
those 14th century musket shit, bro. You carry a gunpowder sack with you. You
Hold
run up,
on,
drop to your
who's
goddamn
speaking?
knee.
Hold on. Sosa, let me say.
You shoot.
Sosa, hold on. Can I say something now, please? Can I say something now? Because
I was about to explain this shit. I was about to explain how the shit.
No. I brought it up. You can't explain the weapon that I brought up.
I already told you how the weapon.
You did not know. You did not know about the weapon before I brought it up. So how are you going to explain something that I brought up?
Explain to me how. Go ahead.
No, he got a point. He got a point there.
You understand what you're saying? I brought it up. You didn't know about it, and I brought it up.
Go ahead. Talk about the musket, man. Go ahead.
Go ahead, bro. I'm gonna let you get it out. Go ahead.
Right? What's the name of the other dude who was speaking to these things load very quickly, 20 to 25 seconds?
No, I never said it. That's that.
Not you, the other dude.
That was me, the Nile Valley Hebrew.
Just tell us about the musket, man.
I finished. Thank you, Nile Valley Hebrew. People,
Yes,
let me give you a general understanding of how fast a musket load. Although these were 18th century musket, you need to go back and watch the show with Denzel Washington and see when they're teaching the black soldiers how to load the weapons.
Yeah, they got that's one shot, one kill. You got a powder pack and then
professional soldiers. Listen, stop talking, and listen. Professional soldiers who went on the ship, the Portuguese ships to the Congo, not layman, professional soldiers who were fighting wars constantly, knew the weapon, and loading the weapon is easy to them. It wasn't taking any 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, or it would never have been an effective weapon used in war in Europe. These weapons
5
were
seconds.
It was
5 seconds.
This dude is who's the dude who's the echo in the background?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna read it right now. The hand carry consisted of a simple,
First you
smooth
say
bore
Africa, then you say Europe. Man.
Yeah, that's why I want to stay. I want to stay in
Came
Concord.
from Europe.
They be jumping around. The hand
The
covering.
weapons came from Europe and went to
The hand covering consisted of a simple, smooth bore tube, closed at one end except for a small hole designed to allow the ignition of gunpowder. Like I said, they take the gunpowder, they pack it in. The tube was held in place by a wooden piece, which would be held under the arm. The tube was loaded with gunpowder and lead bullets. The covering was fired by inserting a burning slow match into the damn hole, bro. That's what I was trying to explain to you about all the fucking guns that you get from the early 1400s, bro.
And what you're saying, are you saying that these weapons weren't effective? That's what you're saying? Are you saying that? No, I'm asking. Are you saying that these weepons weren't effective?
What I'm saying is that they were not effective.
Answer the question. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying that if you would just, I'm gonna explain to you what I said from the beginning. Those guns weren't shit. The spears were still mightier than that at the time, bro. That's why they weren't able. That's why they weren't able to just run up in Africa like that, bro. That's why they.
Okay. Hold on.
Hold on,
Let me ask you one question.
Let me finish saying what I'm saying, bro.
No.
Let me finish saying what I'm saying.
Was the African spear better than the European spear? Shut up. No, he cut me all the time. Shut up.
Hold on, brother.
Was the African spear better than the European spear?
Hey, brothers.
Bro. Just let me finish saying what I'm saying, and then you can kind of respond, bro. Like, it ain't that deep to me. Before you
finish that point, brother, keep in mind that it wasn't the spears that kept the Europeans from coming into the inlands. It was the knowledge of the terrain that the Africans had. It was the knowledge of the terrain that the Africans listen. It was the knowledge of the terrain that the Africans had. Then the Africans was numerous, more than the Europeans, because you probably got 150 Europeans coming on shore and doing deals with kings or whatever. But you probably got 1,000 to 2,000 tribesmen ready to chop their heads off, so they was outnumbered.
The spear is just like a cliche quote. The spear is mightier than a gun at that time. Like they also have niggas also have bows.
Yeah, that's just a saying. That's just a saying.
Don't get caught up on just me saying the spear is mightier than a gun, because niggas have bows and arrows too.
They have bows and arrows, but you have to identify the people you talking about. They have bows and arrows. Every African's gonna have.
Let me finish. I'm gonna ask a question.
Hold on.
Don't finish what you said. Never get to ask a question.
I can't even finish.
Arrows. Yeah, finish up, King. Finish up, King. Finish up, King.
Hey, go ahead, Sosa.
Nah, I just go ahead, Sleepy. I can't do it.
Okay, let me ask you a question. The Europeans were using spears from the time they conquered Egypt. The Europeans were using spears when they were fighting each other. The Romans had spears. The Romans had some of the best spears in the world, and they proved it over 1,000 years. When you look at a Roman centurion soldier, his shield and his spear, he had one of the greatest spears ever. And let me finish talking.
It wasn't necessarily the spear. It was because of the armory, and a lot of people that they fought didn't have the type of armor here. So they would really fight. They were really well armed people in terms of shield fighting niggas with fucking bare
please, let me finish. Let me finish.
All right, go ahead.
The European had spears. They had, and yet still they stopped using the spears for the gun in the 15th century. They still had swords because the cavalry used swords, but most of the foot soldiers were using guns in the 15th century.
Absolutely, right? So, and at that time, they were trading with Asia. So
and at that time,
they got introduced to gunpowder, the Europeans, by the Asians.
So if the Europeans
guns, they shoot, they have a nigga lay down, shoot with the guns, and they run up with the goddamn swords, bro.
Let me finish. So if the European superseded the spear for the gun in his country, where he realized the spear wasn't any competition for the gun, why the African spear now is going to be competition for the gun?
Not as I'm saying.
And the Africans weren't mass producing spears like the European either. Because if you think about it, pots were being traded for slaves. Pots are made out of metal. And they traded pots for slaves. The European had access to more metals than the West African.
The overall point of what I'm making, Stupid, is that the Europeans were not able to take over Africa just because they had guns.
The Africans didn't have the spear. The spears of the African was garbage.
They couldn't just run up on them with the guns, bro.
The
That's the main.
spears of the I'm going to put it to
Now
you.
we gotta go
Spears of
through
the
a whole.
African was
We don't want to do
garbage.
the whole history of guns, how guns are loaded, and all the other shit to come
But
back.
I
back
don't
to the
think
thing
I
that's
don't
going on.
think the brother with the accent, I don't know his name. From what I get, I don't think he was alluding to that superior weaponry is what conquered the continent. I don't think he's saying that because there's a lot of different dynamics. Was you saying that, brother, superior weaponry alone? Because I know you including other factors in there.
Listen.
To me, superior weaponry.
Superior weaponry. Let me tell you what I finished. Superior weaponry allow them to get a foothold onto the Congo.
Yes, foothold, right.
They were on.
Let me finish, please. Let me finish, please.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Superior weaponry allow them to get a foothold, and then afterwards they use trade.
Yeah, they use trade. Yes, sir. See, superior weaponry was just a sidebar. That was the that sparked it, but they still couldn't get into the interiors.
Right.
Because they didn't understand the terrain.
Right.
They couldn't carry their weaponry through these certain mountainous regions, through these jungles. They couldn't place them in there. So what they did a lot of time was blast from the shorelines. You get what I'm saying? They would send a scout them out, blast from the shorelines. That's what they would do. They would not penetrate in the interior because they didn't know the terrains. The tribes was too numerous, and they was well armed with whatever they had.
What they did is they came and they didn't even blast them from the side. Like they really even didn't do that, bro. They negotiated.
Yeah, but the negotiating came after the bloodshed.
How they get a foothold?
Yeah, they didn't come negotiating at first. Negotiating came after the bloodshed.
We're talking about like now we're talking about
the Congo. Yes, absolutely.
But listen, man, I'm gonna let y'all make your last statement because I'm the host. I can't just keep arguing like this shit gonna drive me crazy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be some productive conversation going on now, but you're arguing.
It's too goddamn heated. Everybody make their closing arguments, man, so I can close out, bro. Go ahead, Mighty Hebrew. I'm fucking my bad. I'll that gangster. Go ahead, man. Go ahead and make your closing statement.
The thing about it is, you know, when we say let's go back to our African spiritual traditions, and we say let's put the Bible down and not believe in those spook gods, something that's waiting to save you and things of this nature, we have to say to ourselves, the Africans did the same thing you're telling us to do, and it didn't get them nowhere. They put down their traditional beliefs, their spiritual powers, and relied on man-made weapons. You get what I'm saying? We had abilities to make it rain, stop it from raining, send bad spirits at you, send good spirits to cast off bad spirits. We had the ability to do this. If you look at the Haitian Revolution, when they was dealing with the spirits, you get what I'm saying? Duty Bookman and them, I could take it all the way back. He was venerated to a lower. You get what I'm saying? So we left our spiritual systems to pick up the gun in Africa. And today, a lot of brothers telling us to go back to the African spiritual systems that we abandoned in Africa to go back to the gun, but not realizing without a spiritual power, we can't move forward, no matter what type of weapon we got. We don't have no spiritual force behind it as Africans, because Africans, we've always had a spiritual force. And I heard somebody on here talking earlier about an atheist African tribe, group, whatever the case may be. It's no such thing as that. You got some sprinkled out, but every African tribe on the continent subscribe to a deity higher than themselves that they appease, they sacrifice to, and they're married to. Whether it's a Orisha, whether it's a Loa, whether it's a Bosun, or whether there's a patron deity or whatever the case may be, it's always a spiritual power behind anything they do, as far as governing, laws, social conductions. It's always a spiritual principle. And us, we have been so westernized and so messed up on the Bible that we just abandon spirituality period and call it spookism. But then take you back to then the same people who abandon spiritualism and call it spookism and tell us to get out the Bible are the same people that say, oh, when you mention the Africans dealing with spirits, they'll say, oh, I don't believe that either. But they'll tell you in the same breath, go back to the African spiritual system. But then when you tell them what the African spiritual systems entail, it's, wait a minute, that's spooky, I don't believe that. So what you want us to go to? You get what I'm saying? So basically, Everybody on the bound makes spiritual system. Without no spiritual power behind, no African nation, they can do nothing. Simple as that.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Steve.
okay, this is what I'm saying. The European who gave us our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is the most atheist in the world.
No, the European didn't give us that, brother.
The
Don't do
Let
that.
her get it out. Let her get it
Don't
out.
do that.
Let's close it out.
When you were talking, nobody was talking. Please allow me. The European who introduced the Bible to us in West Africa. We never have it before the European came.
Oh God.
Who introduced the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to us is the most atheist people in the world. They have known for years now that God is dead. But black people have not received the memo.
I can't let this go on like this. I can't.
You can't. I was listening to your garbage. So listen to my garbage.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was listening to your garbage, so listen to my garbage. You can consider garbage, and I don't have a problem with it.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Right? So
expect some correction. That's all. Expect some correction.
No problem.
Go ahead, brother.
No problem. So the European told us that the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is coming, and he sent missionary and turned us into Christians and gave us the Bible. And from it, we turned all different manner of religion. We don't want to be Hebrew, Israelite, Pentecostal. We follow all different types of religion. They acknowledge that God is dead, but we have not yet received the memo. That's what all I have to say.
I want to respond.
Let me hold on. Let me close out real quick. I'll give you one more response. I want to say this. And Stupid's the Culverin, right? Because I had to look this shit up, right? Primarily with the French, adopted by English, and they were used by the 16th century, right? So we just want to get that.
The 16th century, the 1500. The 16th century, the 1500. In the 16th century, the 1500.
Right.
So from 1501
by the English,
to 15,
hold on. That's what I'm saying. By the English. Why you cannot relax? I know what the 16th century is. I simply just read it to you and you're going crazy. You see what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even clarified this shit. I just read this shit to you. Yeah, but adopted by the English Navy in the 16th century. Right? So before we're talking about the Portuguese over there in Congo, 14th century. All right, so that's
another God similar to that in the 15th century. Look it up. Look it up. There's another
prototype. The only one they have will be the prototype with the hand bombard. That's 1390 to 1400. But
right, and it's similar. It's similar to the Convert also. It's similar. Look at it.
Yeah. No, it's a lot different. That one's look like a stick with like a racket, like I forgot what they call them shit, but like a one end shaped like a bat and the other end shaped like a stick, smaller stick. That's what that's. All right, Marty. Damn, what you got there? Nile Valley Hebrew, my nigga. Like, I'm gonna let you get one more dig at Stupid, but if I let you dig at Stupid, I'm gonna let Stupid dig at you one more time.
I ain't got no problem with it, man.
I got to grin and bear it. I got to grin and bear it.
We got some time, man. I just want to set the record straight, man. Like, when the brother said a European came to us with a Bible, he must be talking about a canonized version, which they approached people who couldn't read it, which had to be interpreted, and then put in their language, interpret it, put in their language, and interpret it again. When you talking about a European brought us the Bible, that's simply what you're talking about. You're not talking about the Europeans brought us the tenets that we find in the Bible. You're not talking about the European brought us the laws which we found in the Bible or find in the Bible. You're not talking about the customs that we find in the Bible, the sprinkling of the blood when you're dealing with the Levitical priesthood. Europeans went into that. They call that spookism. So the Europeans wouldn't give us something that they call spookism themselves and say practice it. People got that misunderstood. We was dealing with these traditions in 3,000-4,000 years ago. You find the same traditions being dealt with by indigenous African tribes, nations, and people today as you would look in the book of Leviticus and find the same traditions. We call it Voodoo today. The Europeans didn't bring us Voodoo. We already have it. What he's talking about is Europeans bringing us a canonized version of a book presented to us, interpreting how they want and telling us what it means. That's what he's talking about. You have to understand Christianity goes back a long time ago. And I'm not talking about modern day Christianity. because what the brother is talking about, what they brought us is modern day Christianity. I can agree with him on that. But when you talk about Christianity in its purest form, you have to realize that the original Jews or Israelites were Christians. What Christians mean is just to follow the tenets that Christ laid down. And what Christ said is go to the law of the letter of the law. That means look in the Old Testament. He didn't say, yes, he didn't say I'm a Christian, celebrate Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving. This is what Christians brought us. So when you say the European brought us this stuff, you're mixing and mashing it. You're talking about modern day Christianity, which the European did bring us, but we was practicing tenets already and customs that you could find in the Bible before the European came with that modern day Christianity crap. So you can't mix the two up. It's like oil and gas. You can't do that.
All right. So, thank you, Nile Valley Hebrew. There's this beautiful book I read by one of our members of the conscious community. A lot of people might not agree with the book, but I enjoy the book. The name of the book is The Misconceptions of the Hebrew Israelite by Garfield A. Reed.
Oh, God.
And in that book, Garfield debunked everything that you just said. We'd like to believe that in West Africa, Jews were in West Africa, or Hebrews were in West Africa.
No such thing as a Hebrew.
Or what are they called?
Israelites. Hebrew is action verb. Is an action verb. Yes.
That Israelites were in West Africa.
You the first person I heard, goddamn. That's the first time. Now you use Garfield A. Reed as a source. That's all right.
Right. That's funny.
That's dope. Now we use it on old people. That's all right. That's kind of dope. I'm like,
man, that's hope. It ain't dope. That's hope.
No. So when we look at it, that book debunks the presence of Israelites who were said to have dispersed when the fall of Israel and ended up in West Africa. There's no history of those people in West Africa. But if you want to believe it, I hope that everybody there will get Garfield A. Reed book and look at it, and it speaks for itself. But
listen,
as I would say, who brought us the book? And thank you for bringing us on the ships and introducing us to that book, that we will find heaven, because there was no heaven before the European.
You got to clarify what you're saying when you say book, because I keep telling you, brother. I think you
with this, man. Listen,
yeah, I want to build with you for a minute. You might as well stay on for a couple of 20 more minutes, man, because we got to build on this. And you got to, man. And Garfield listening, man. Garfield listening.
We'll do it another time, because I want to watch the rest of it.
Yeah, Garfield know not to play with me with that. Man. Like,
thank y'all, brothers.
Garfield kill you with that book all the time.
I guess so. Ask him then. You ask Garfield.
Coming through, man. Everybody.
Ask Garfield about the Nile Valley Hebrew.
If you ain't subscribed to the channel, man, tell a friend, man.